friends. What's going on? It's Tuesday. It's Grappy Hour. It's time for all the stuff that we talk about while we have a drink and hang out. And Lily's here, and I'm here. And Lily, how you doing?
I'm exhausted. I'm not in the best mood, but I'm happy to be here with you and talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, it's been a crazy weekend. I went
Mhm.
into the weekend thinking that, oh, there's not much wrestling going on. And then I very quickly realized there was a lot. And so I was able to sit back and watch some of it during the time and then catch up on some of it later. And it was, there was some good stuff and some stuff that happened. Otherwise, though, there was,
Very diplomatic of you.
I try to be. That's what I do here on this platform. Speaking of which, it's Fightful Overbooked. Hope you're all doing well. Chat, hello. If you're listening to us in the audio forum, hello. And why haven't you dropped a 5-star review yet? Maybe you should.
Have a
Maybe you
drink.
haven't. Maybe pop a drink and pop a 5-star review. Help us get a little bit closer to your friends hearing more of us here at Overbooked, because it's not just the Sean Ross Sapp show. Okay, there are other people here that talk about professional wrestling. We just do it all in different periods of time. And also, if you're here at youtube.com/FightfulOverbooked and you guys are doing this live or watching us live, chat hello, drop a thumbs up, got us afterwards, maybe leave a comment. That'll help. And yeah, also super chats. You know what? Why not? I say self-funded. We are one of those groups of people who take the funding of you and we reinvest it back in Fightful. It helps pay everybody. So if you would go ahead, donate a super chat, get your question statement read on the air, supports us, supports you, supporting us. We appreciate you. Lily, what the heck's going on? What are we talking about? There's so much wrestling. What do we want to do? We have so much.
I think let's start with TripleMania. Because that's kind of fresh. That's fresh on my mind. Like you said, I knew TripleMania was coming up. I forgot when it was coming up, and then it kind of came out of nowhere. And one of my good friends, Ani, he was like, "Yo, when is it?" And I was like, "It's tonight. Come through." And you can probably tell by my voice, I'm recovering from a cold. I did test for COVID like multiple times, and it wasn't. So I was like recovering from a cold, recovering from wrestling. So TripleMania kind of already is a fever dream. But when you add, recovering from a cold and a couple of adult beverages, a little bit of cannabis, it's a lot. I was exhausted by the end of it, but it was quite the show. A lot of it kind of reminded me of GCW, kind of in the fact that it was like just a clusterfuck. But some of the talent was incredible. Reading the live threads along with people on Reddit was pretty interesting because you got a little bit more insight from people on the ground in Mexico that were actually from Mexico as well. The AAA president that you pointed out, her name, was an absolute icon, carrying an urn the whole match. Wagner Jr. got a crazy pop, apparently the craziest pop of the night. Blue Demon Jr., Vampiro. I thought Tay Conti did a great job as well. Yeah, it was good. We can talk about whatever you want.
So AAA is really fun in that all roads kind of go to AAA and diverge out of AAA because you had AEW stars there, you had Impact stars there, you have just giant cluster segments going on and matches. Some feel longer than others when really they're pretty much as long as the rest. Like I took a look at match times and I'm not a pull out your stopwatch kind of guy, but a match between LA Park and Viano 4 goes almost 20 minutes, but also it ended up being a really good match because they got bloody, they got stupid. Like they're older guys. They've been around this business forever. They're icons in Lucha Libre. And just to watch those two go at it, I think that was nuts. I didn't expect much coming out of it. But when I rewatched the match, I was like, holy shit. Like I did not expect that. And a lot of matches on the card just kind of delivered despite sometimes being either too short, too long. Don't get me started on that Jeff Jarrett appearance and segment because holy shit, that was awful.
Oh my god, the wife too, like good lord.
Karen. Oh my god.
Her name's Karen. That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. That's Karen Jarrett, the former Karen Angle, I believe.
Well, the thing, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. You were saying like a lot of these luchas, they are like 50 plus, sometimes 60 plus.
Some of them are, yeah.
Some of them, I think one of them was actually 70 plus, if I'm not mistaken. Kanek, yeah, he's 71, I think, or something like that.
So that was hilarious because Kanek, they kept talking about how, he slammed Andre the Giant. He had matches with Hulk Hogan. And I'm just like, well, that's maybe something you don't want to hit too hard on the head, English commentary.
Self-report.
It was something else. But you know what? He won. He defeated Psycho Clown, which is just absurd. And the match was fine. A good little, 10, 13 minute match there. Latin Lover was there. That's how this whole
Oh,
AAA Jeff Jarrett and Vampiro. Vampiro is another one that when he shows up, I'm like, oh, this is gonna go extra long. Shit's gonna go weird. There's this like iconic video now. I don't know if you've seen this of a TripleMania years ago where something's going on in the ring. There's a beatdown, and Vampiro is there calling the action with I think Matt Stryker, and Vampiro gets up and he's like, I'm not getting in there until they call my music. He's sitting ringside.
oh
Like
my
he's
God.
sitting at ringside and he's like, cue my music, play my music. He's like telling the back on the headset, like, cue my music. I'm not getting in there till they play my music. And it's just so awful. But this time he wasn't on commentary. He just he went to the ring, he did the thing. But of course, because it's Vampiro, he goes overboard because it's Vampiro. It was just something else to watch.
And the main event was great too, I thought. You got some GCW cred in there, you got some AEW cred in there. And one thing that I kind of had like a holy shit moment was I never really realized that stylistically, the Young Bucks are luchas.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, like they really thrive in this kind of unsafe environment. Even though they've been doing this stuff for years and they've banged in Japan and Mexico and all over, they really thrive doing just straight lucha style matches. And I thought everyone else involved in that like tag was amazing. Phoenix, he's back, looking good. I'm just like looking at the card now. Who else was? Oh yeah, and then Bandito with Tia Valkyrie, and Andrade was a star as well. I thought he was like one of the like stars of the night. Andrade, everyone loved him, and having that crossover, from Mexico and America and multiple promotions, it was really great.
Yeah, and people like Deonna Purrazzo, Taya Valkyrie, they've been around AAA for the last few years. Taya more so, and then Taya's husband, John Morrison, who is Johnny Caballero here. He had a whole shtick at the end of the night after the Young Bucks defeated Hijo del Vikingo and Phoenix. You had the Young Bucks do a little beatdown, and then Sammy and Ty show up. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conchi, who won the mixed tag titles, they show up. They start beating down Vikingo and Phoenix, and then out comes Pentagon Jr. or Penta El Zero Miedo if you're watching AEW. You had Ty Conchi get kicked in the head. Which
went viral, that pump kick.
That went all around.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good. And then you had Johnny Caballero was also part of that group now. So I don't know. Listen, if all of them end up getting represented by Jeff Jarrett, I might just never watch AAA again.
Also, it's like I think that the point has been established at this point in history of wrestling that Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara have had sex. And I'm super proud that they have had sex, but I feel like it's time to maybe move on to other parts of their story. That's just me.
But the problem with that, and I don't know if you know about this, they had sex. I don't know if you realize this. So Sammy and Ty have had sex. You know.
1 second, I'm gonna tweet this right now.
Okay, you got to make sure that people know. And then on top of that, the people who maybe don't know this now may need to know this in the future because it's important to the story that Sammy and Ty have sex.
Well, I think we should end the episode with that. There was a great Grappy Hour.
Thank you guys.
Don't forget to subscribe to Fightful Overbooked and bye.
We'll
but I was gonna say two standouts of the night for me were Laredo Kid,
yes,
and Cartwheel, who I had never seen perform a full match before. I've seen his clips, and I know that he's a member of the Jewish tribe, so I have to ride for him.
Which, by the way, I found out this past Passover. I was like freaking out. I was like, "What is this guy doing?" And then it turns out,
and his family lives here because he's from the States, right?
Yeah, insanity.
So I had to ride for Cartwheel Jack, and holy shit, what an incredible performer! Like so clean, and considering he's like a white boy, like he moves like a lucha. Like I was like gasping at that match. That was that was a 3-way tag match with Caballero Torres, who I love. Lovely to see Torres there.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have a good time. Laredo Kid, of course, who's made shots with Impact.
Yep.
We talked about Johnny Caballero and Dragon Lee and Dralistico, who were very much part of Ring of Honor for a long period of time. Yeah, it was a good match. It was actually one of the matches that I didn't really pay as much attention to as the rest of them, but
Oh
it was
wow.
still, when I went back and spent a little time, it was a really good match. What I
Yeah.
really liked, and again, shockingly so, was Ultimo Dragon taking on Pentagon. I did not
Okay.
expect that match to be as fun as it was. It wasn't long. It was like the traditional Pentagon does the poses and everything, but Ultimo Dragon, being the age that he is,
Hmm.
having the match that he did was actually a lot of fun. And for him to get the win over Pentagon was smart. So I don't know if you paid attention to like this Ruleta de la Muerte tournament that they do.
No,
Do you know anything about it?
unfortunately, no.
So basically, Triple Mania is 3 events. It's not just this one. There's
Mm.
another one in Tijuana in June, and then there's a third one in Mexico City. That's like the big one in October.
The
Okay.
blowout, essentially.
Yeah. So this whole Ruleta de la Muerte tournament goes through for the 3 events. This
Oh,
one was the
cool.
big first round where the losers of the match go through to the next round because the loser of the tournament loses their mask.
Ooh, I like that. And I like the graphic. I liked the way that the stage was set up, and I actually really liked everyone's Titantrons too.
Yeah, it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
So Pentagon going further and further into the event makes sense because you got someone else to promote for your next event in
Mm.
Tijuana. So it's going to be Pentagon Jr. and Viano 4. They're going to have a match in that Ruleta de la Muerte. And then Blue Demon Jr. and Psycho Clown are going to have the next one. I have a
Yes.
feeling that the finals are going to be Viano 4 and Blue Demon. I think Viano 4 is going to the end. And I think maybe Viano 4 is going to unmask, but I don't know for sure. I
Hmm.
just think that Pentagon is going to be involved with his brother in a tag match versus the Young Bucks by October, if I
Very
had to
cool.
guess. But we'll see. Either way, the event itself. Looking forward to Tijuana. They actually announced that they're going to do Dragon Lee and Dralistico against the Hardys, so that'll be a
Holy.
lot of fun. And they're doing an elimination steel cage match between Lady Shani, La Hiedra, Flammer, Chick Tormenta, and Sexy Star 2, and then a TBA.
I forgot to give a shout out to the newly casted Sexy Star 2, Electric Boogaloo. She looked great and she performed great, and it was good. I really like the new Sexy Star. I know there was a little bit of controversy with her. I think she actually became a shoot fighter.
She
Um,
tried.
oh, she tried. Okay.
The original Sexy Star. You can watch her over to Lucha Underground if you really want the US influence of Sexy Star. Anyway, either way,
You.
4-hour show, Triple Mania was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't need to drink too much to get through it. What are you drinking today, by the way? Because I didn't see.
Oh, today I'm drinking Good Fortune Raspberry Hibiscus sparkling wine beverage with 5% alcohol. It's actually really good.
Nice. Is that
Yeah.
the one that you didn't drink the week before?
I believe so. Yeah, I had the rosé last week, and this is the one that I didn't drink. And I don't think that I prefer one over the other. These are both perfect drinks to allegedly illegally drink in a park in the summer.
Oh, there you go. So if you're looking for a beverage for the summer, this might be it.
If you're in Ontario, I don't know about you Americans, but
Do whatever you want. Where do you want to go? You want to go to AEW? You want to go to
let's
Impact
do it.
Wrestling? Where do you want to do it?
Let's
Want to
do
do AEW?
AEW.
All right.
And
Let's
actually
start.
I want to start by
Do it.
saying I usually don't watch Dark from start to finish. Like I like to see kind of like, up and coming talent, obviously, because it is kind of almost like a tryout. But Elevation last night was absolutely awesome. We had a lot of like really interesting matchups, including Tony Nese and Cheeseburger, who commanded that entire stadium for their 4-minute match. And Cheeseburger is just so over right now. And I myself am not a huge Tony Nese fan, but that match, I was like, holy shit, I am buying what both of these men are selling. It was a great comedy match, good storytelling, and the crowd just ate them up. Willow Nightingale also got a win, and she now has her own intro. So I don't know if that means that she's going to be appearing more, but I love to see it.
I saw a video where they panned to the crowd and there was a signed Willow Nightingale sign. And they showed
Mhm.
that sign. Like they specifically zoomed in on that sign, so I think that's a sign of things to come. No pun
Interesting.
intended.
And my dude Takashida, he was back. He defeated Titus, yeah, who I believe is a local to wherever that show was taped. And
And a
I'm
former
just
Ring
so
of Honor champion, not
oh
world champion, but a former champion in Ring of
oh
Honor.
right, yeah, and they put on a clinic. Like it wasn't a long match; it was short and sweet, but like real, like classic, almost collegiate chain wrestling, grappling type match with a nice sprinklings of New Japan spots here and there. Both men put on a beautiful match, and it's really nice to see ROH, New Japan, all these different styles kind of starting to clash for free on YouTube. Like I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah, exactly. I am not the type of person who normally watches AEW Dark or Elevation.
Mhm,
Sometimes I will pop through and just kind of scrub through it on YouTube in case there's something I need to watch. But
mhm.
from what I was hearing this week, it was a standout event, and I'm a fan of that. I would like to spend a little bit more time with Dark, but like they have to make me want to care to watch
Of
it.
course. And Julia obviously is turning heel quite soon. The mist is spreading, and it seems like she might be working directly with Malachi just to work on her strikes because her moveset is kind of changed a little bit. She's a lot better with her arm strikes, her leg strikes, and she's really leaning into her character. And I really like to see that from anyone, but especially women.
Mhm.
Because we've talked about how women get written and presented on TV sometimes, and as much as that is up to writers and people behind the scenes, it's also up to the performers and the women as well to push, ideas forward. And I think that Julia, for someone that's so new to this business, is doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And I'm curious to see where this goes.
They got to pull the trigger. They just got to get it going, and
Yeah.
that's all I really care
They
about right
love
now
the
when it
long
comes.
game on IEW. Like they love the
But it's
long game. And,
the
and
problem
sometimes
is
it's like, oh,
The problem is it's not even a long game. It's just a back burner,
well,
right? Like
Fenix, I think the Fenix injury kind of affected the Julia thing as well, because I think that was going to play into it.
there were other ways you could have gone there, though.
Hmm.
Julia Hart was never officially like she was never associated with Ray Phoenix, right? So
True.
it's not like you need that as the reason for why you don't do it. They just needed to get there, and it took them so long to inevitably get there, and we're still waiting.
Mm.
We're still waiting for whatever it is to air. So like it's been a long time, and it's not, to me, that's not long-term storytelling. That's just Julia Hart on the back burner, and eventually they're going to do something with it. Same thing, honestly, with the Philly street fight. I enjoyed the match between Deeb and Sheeta. I don't, I didn't care going into it because they spent so little time making me care after they
They had
brought
so
back
much
Sheeta.
time. They had
They
so much
brought
time
back
building
Sheeta
that.
at Rampage before Full Gear and then did nothing other than a standoff and a couple of videos. That was for like 2-3 months of build that went absolutely that just there was nothing. There was no build for me. There was no reason to do a street fight in the confines of like we're having a blood feud. It was supposed to be this best of five type thing, and it didn't do much. It didn't do anything for me.
To me, I totally disagree because to me, it's just two women, two characters that just hate each other's guts and they have forever. And they both kind of try and get one over the other. And it was, a long time coming. It was totally telegraphed and we knew where it was going. And I agree that, the lead up into this blowout was kind of dog shit. But overall, I really liked that program.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying the lead up to
The
it
lead up. Okay.
was
I agree
awful.
with you.
The
Okay. I agree with
matches
you.
were great. The storytelling was good, but the way that they staggered it was just not good at all.
And I think a lot of that might have had to do with Sheeta just being so goddamn busy.
Well, she went back to Japan for a month and then came back. They had her on American soil from Full Gear, and
Mm,
they didn't do the match
do
sooner.
anything, yeah.
Yeah, they had her do the qualifier for the Owen, and then that was it. They didn't
And who
really
do you think that falls
capitalize.
on? Do you think
I,
that's, like, on the performers or
No, it's on the bookers. It's
Mm,
absolutely on whoever's booking. If it's Tony, if it's whoever, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know. But it's
specifically, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but it's on the bookers. It's on the people
Okay.
putting the show together. And this, to me, is a consistent issue that I have with AEW is
Mm,
that they continuously put things on the back burner and then think that they're paying
especially
it
with
off after
women.
months. Well, yeah, especially with women, and that's a whole other can of worms. But for
Mhm.
me, I want to see things play out, and I'm not saying I want to see it play out, in a week. I at least want to see it play out within due time, and not just be like, oh yeah, that's a thing that's happening. I want to be reminded that someone had brought this up to me before. One of the best things that WWE does is if you're not watching the weekly shows and you're watching the pay-per-views, the pay-per-view recap packages going into a match is the perfect way to get into the match and understand what's going on. And if AEW did more of that, I think they would be looking at a much more cohesive storytelling product. That's something that to me they're missing.
And I think you make a good point, because when, like, I hate comparing promotion to promotion, but I personally think that, WWE right now caters to your first time viewer, your casual. They want to, get that new viewer. Whereas AEW caters more to like the super meta nerdy kind of like fan service kind of audience, and like the memes and Reddit and like Twitter and all that stuff. So I agree with you. I think that, maybe focusing on all like the nerdy meta stuff too much, and not like getting new fans and like reintroducing these stories so people know what the fuck is going on.
There's room for that.
Yeah.
There is room for that on all sides. And this is something, again, this is not a silly tribalist conversation. This is
no.
I'm just saying that to put it out there in the world, because inevitably someone goes into the comments and just like, no, they just hate AEW. But no, it's not even that. I watch the shows every week and I often enjoy them. But one thing that just drives me nuts is that if I miss even 1 week, I've just got to go back and be like, wait, what? Or it's been a few months and you're bringing this back and I need to know what the hell's going on. Stuff like that bugs me. They're catering to a fan base that is, like you said, very much attached to the product and very much attached to social media. If they're on Reddit, if they're on Twitter, whatever it is where they get their news, they're involved, they get it. But for those who don't, sometimes they walk in like they're walking into a party for the first time and they know nobody. And they're just like, oh, what do? Everyone's paired off. Where do I come in? Or do I come in? And that's something that bugs me about AEW, is that there is an opportunity to do that. Whereas with WWE, there's an opportunity for them to tell a more cohesive story, but they don't do that. That's a different thing. Just to even out the playing field here on the conversation.
I just hope that Alexa Bliss is okay, and I hope that things like are okay for the female talent and like women talent at WWE, because there's so much incredible talent going on. I have Naomi on my desk. Like, I'm not a huge like every week watcher, but there's so much talent in that division, and I worry about how they're presented and written.
Watch last night on Raw, the main event. It was a 6-woman tag and it was really well done.
Sasha and Naomi involved?
No, it was oh my god, I'm going to do this to myself.
Liv,
Asuka, and
and Dewdrop's tagging now. There's a Scottish women's tag team, which is awesome.
I've been calling that for a while. I'm glad they're doing that. Sorry, the third person is just going to bug me now. But either way, they took on. Check it out. Bianca Belair versus Becky, Sonya, and Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
It was a really good 6-woman tag. Really worth going out of your way to check out. So the women's division, again, it comes and goes with both companies too. And going into this coming Wednesday, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but Mercedes Martinez and Deonna Purrazzo are having the Ring of Honor Women's Championship conglomeration. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, you're excited. I am too. I think it's going to main event that show, by the way.
I hope so.
It's the only title that's on the line right now as of Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I will mark your words. I'm writing a note down right now that it is going to be the main event, and I hope that it is, because both those women have proven themselves for years. And I think that they're a draw. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's a women's match. Like, they are a draw. They are incredible wrestlers, and there's a lot of reputation and there's a lot of story on the line. So it's not just women that are tuning into those two. It's a lot of people.
Yeah. And I remember at Grand Slam in New York last year, when the women main evented the show, it's because it was the only title that was on the line. And they made the title that was on the line the most important. Last week, the TNT title was on the line. It was Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky, and that was the main event in the contractual ladder match that Sammy has to have every week or every month.
I just hope he's okay. Like, he was at TripleMania. He looked not injured at all. So
came out with a crutch and turned everyone on its side and won the match. So It's entirely possible, but he seems to be
I
okay.
also found out that he had sex with Tay Conti, which is great news.
Breaking news: Ty Conchi and Sammy Guevara have sex. Is there anything else from Dynamite that really throws your bounty? Did you like Dax and Cash
Of
in the
course I
Owens
did.
qualifier? What'd you
It
like?
was it was so emotional, especially the end. There was this one gif that was going around where they're both kind of lying on the mat and they literally did the same thing at the same time. Like those two are so connected. Um and I mean story-wise it kind of, it made sense for Dax to go over just because of his like undying like outward love for Mr. Hart. So it was a tribute match, and there was a lot of things going around comparing the two classic matches. It was HBK, right? That they
Uh, that they love.
no, that the match itself that they like mimicked essentially.
Oh, they mimicked a few. They did Brett and Owen. They
Yeah, it was
did
Brett and
Brett
Owen.
and Mr. Perfect, and they did Brett and Razor Ramon. The finish was Brett and Perfect, I think, in the
It was
roll-up.
great. It was great. I thought it was kind of weird to put it as the first match, but it also kind of made sense with like the rest of the card, I guess.
So by the sounds of it, because Hangman announced that he had COVID, I think it was
Mm,
known that he wasn't going to be there earlier in the week. But also, I think the idea of them putting CM Punk on commentary was, first of all, a hot opener because that's what AEW does. People were talking about, again, whatever the internet is talking about the most usually ends up being the opening contest. And in this case, it was Dax versus Cash. And then you put
mm.
CM Punk out there for commentary. I think the original plan was that they were going to go into a Hangman CM Punk promo that would lead to the Double or Nothing announcement. Instead, because Hangman wasn't there, they had Punk just go out. They announced the match, and Punk just cut a quick promo, and that was that. And that was their way of kind of making it work.
I thought Rampage this week was a little bit more impressive, actually, just from a lineup and match standpoint. Like you got Swerve with Darby. I thought that was a fucking phenomenal opening match. Both of their styles are so same but different,
Yeah.
and really played well off each other. And then we got the baddies. I personally think that the baddies are one of the best things going for the women's side of things in AEW right now. And when I say that, I mean representation wise, character wise, story development wise, what they're doing on social media, what they're doing like outside of the ring as well. It's just very well fleshed out. It's really positive. It's badass. It's getting a lot of people involved. It's a good message, and they killed it that match. I thought that was a really good trios match. Yeah.
It was really good. I love the trios of Jade and Kiara and Red Velvet. I think it works. It does, and they come out. They do the dances. They look like a team. They look cohesive. They work together. They have a leader, and that's Jade. And if that's the way they're going to work right now, then that's perfect. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed that. Putting
And
Sky Blue,
Willow.
Trish Adora, and Willow out there was great. It was fine. Willow didn't really do anything because she had a match on Dark taped earlier in the night,
Yeah.
but it was one of those like we need a body, and then having Trish Adora and Sky Blue doing the lion's share was good. I quite
Mhm.
enjoyed it. But really, the whole point of that match was to showcase the baddies and to
Of
really
course.
make it known that they are a trio in and out of the ring.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do as a trio, not just as a wrestling trio, but also as just a trio of women who might completely decimate the division. And I'd like to see that.
And Miss Jade Cargill herself said that the daddy section might be starting up. So I think you should apply to that if AEW ever comes, to the East
Hey,
Coast.
if and when I'll be there, I'll post my photos. Maybe I'll get myself a Hooters shirt and
Oh, that'd
no,
be incredible.
the guy in Boston, he absolutely killed
Oh,
it.
he
He's the
won.
guy.
Like,
Yeah,
you want
he's
to
the
talk
guy.
about body positivity?
Yeah.
That guy wins.
That, and
Okay.
you know what? And I think we talked about it on the other shows. The fact that people weren't dicks about it, people were like, "Yes, this guy," and it
The
was
majority were
unironic.
nice. There's
Yeah,
always a couple assholes, but the majority were like, go off.
forget him. Exactly. The people who were nice were the ones that shone that day. And so for him to
Exactly.
come and be a part of the show, one thing that was hilarious and like stupid because it's wrestling was they didn't really show him on camera. Like he was in the
Yeah.
baddie section and they just kind of showed all the women and he had to like kind of do this just to like be in the shot barely. It was silly, but whatever. It's wrestling.
Well, it's like, good looking women, I guess, do better on TV cameras. What What do you
It's
want to
just the
say?
reality that it is.
And there's been some good cameos in the baddie section actually the past couple of weeks. Gabby Ortiz was there last week, who
Yep.
I interviewed, and she's just such a lovely human being and a great wrestler. So I don't know if that means something.
Are you saying that you are the purveyor of baddie sections?
No, absolutely not. But I better be in one when it comes to Toronto.
That's right. We'll do the baddie and daddy section, and you and I will find a way in on both ends.
Well, yeah. We'll do our submission together, the baddie and the daddy.
Perfect. Oh my god. And then we'll yeah, I have ideas now. We're gonna have to get that. We'll do a whole vlog and the whole nine.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, I don't even know when AEW is coming to Toronto. I just know that Raw's going to be in Toronto in like August. So that's the
Nice.
best I can do for you. We'll
And
be
I'm
the
gonna
baddie
go.
section at Raw.
And until then, I'll be going to see Superkick, Greektown, and a bunch of other great shows. So
Exactly. And I'll be there too. For some of them, not all of them. Anyway, Danhausen and Hook. Are you excited for Hookhausen? Are you excited for this tag team to eventually show up?
I am, but it better be some good damn payoff because like we're saying, it's like there's all this lead up, but what's it's gonna lead to? And it's like a meme is a meme, but is the meme worth it? Like
And I talked about this with Tim on Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, the idea of the meme wrestler succeeding. And right now, Hook completely succeeds because he's a good wrestler and he's
great wrestler.
entertaining. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. He pulled it out. And when he had his first match and people were like, I like this guy. He's
Mhm.
clearly learning and caring about wrestling. People like that. Danhausen's always been, ever since he became the Danhausen we see now, he's always been over and he knows how to wrestle. So clearly
Mhm.
that's not a problem. You put them together and absolutely it becomes the stupidest meme, and I'm all for it. But what I really want to see, more than anything else, I want to see Hook wearing Danhausen paint.
Well,
That's
they
what I
kind
want.
of alluded to like maybe they aren't enemies, maybe they're friends at the end. But I don't know. And I've been playing a lot of Borderlands lately, and like it's just all Danhausen. Like one of his main reference points is absolutely Mr. Burns, Borderlands, Conan O'Brien.
Okay. Conan
That's
O'Brien.
what I see. That's what I see.
Well, I know the Conan's connection. I'm seeing in the chat, and I just saw it online. Tony Khan just announced for Rampage this week, it's Yuka Sakazaki versus Riho in a tournament qualifier for the Owen.
Yes, yes, yes.
I know
Thank
you like
God.
that.
I knew that Yuka was coming back, and I actually just saw over the weekend that Riho finally recovered from her broken collarbone, which she finished a match with.
Crazy,
She
right?
finished a match with a broken collarbone.
Really excited for that match. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be actually they're doing the show at like 5:30 because of all the playoffs
Yeah, what
going
is
on.
that?
It's because
Oh, okay.
there's TNT, there's basketball playoffs, the NHL playoffs are on right now. Baseball's back. Basically, like if you're the person who talks about ratings all the time with your friends and on the internet, don't worry right now. Nothing in the ratings department matters, and everything's going to look like shit for the next God knows how long because there's so much in the real sports world. So all the eyes are on that.
Well, one of my neighbors, he like I obviously watch a lot of fighting and mostly wrestling, but boxing, yada yada. And he's always like yelling and going off. So I guess he's into some of this stuff and maybe has some money on the line. So good luck to my neighbor.
There you go.
Hope you don't lose money and gamble responsibly.
One thing I really liked, by the way, was the main event of Rampage this week.
Oh,
Not just having Samoa Joe and Trent Beretta, but I really, really enjoyed having Ian Riccaboni on the call and Bobby Cruz doing the ring announcing. I thought it just added so much more to the Ring of Honor-ness of being on Rampage. I quite enjoyed that. Plus the match, of course, Samoa Joe is Samoa Joe. Can't dislike him.
and it creates a nice separation too, because like what I don't want to see is kind of like a blurred line between AEW and ROH because they're both such different brands and they have both such different character and history and blah blah blah. One of them's like old and legacy, one of them's new and up and coming. So it's nice to kind of see, and I hate the word like forbidden door, but like essentially they're creating like another door to kind of separate both promotions, even though they do have an existing partnership.
Yeah. And whatever's being built now with Ring of Honor, this is just the best way that they can do it. Put it on AEW TV and eventually announce where you're going to actually run Ring of Honor.
And what's the alternative? No Ring of Honor?
Well, that's clearly not an alternative because TK doesn't want to do that. He owns the product. He wants to make it into something that still in development and still working. So for him to shut it down makes zero sense at this point. Something catastrophic would have to happen in order for Ring of Honor not to run under the AEW umbrella.
Yeah.
And
a new show's coming too. I saw breaking news. So
yeah, supposedly something that's
not wrestling related though, right?
Yeah, reality related. So get ready for
Tay and Sam. Yeah,
have sex.
That'd be a great name for a show.
Ty Conchi and Sammy Guevara have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that they do?
No.
This is new. Okay, so the reality show is going to be all about how they do.
Remember when we tried to watch the Carmella show and then WWE buried it?
They tried so hard to make it a thing. We made it.
And they just buried it. They're like, that never happened.
Oh my god. Well, then they got married and went on their honeymoon and came back and no one cared. Dude,
Alexa's wedding looked crazy too. Like that must have cost like a couple milli for sure.
Well, I mean, when you have a husband who's deeply rooted in the entertainment business, the legitimate entertainment business,
not the sports entertainment business. Yeah,
not the sports entertainment.
Not to be confused with the sports entertainment business. Yeah,
exactly. So you came to me and you were like, Impact is amazing, and I want to talk about it. And I agree with you. By the way, I went back and watched Impact from this past week.
It was short. It was short but sweet.
Yeah, the show. It was such an easy show to watch, and I really enjoyed it.
People are gonna think that like I'm like a paid like plant or whatever, but I will always like ride for Impact because people shit on it for like such strange reasons, and it's pretty obvious that like what the issue at Impact is. It's not the talent, it's not the writing, it's that they don't have a lot of money.
It's even weirder than that, and I've said this elsewhere. They've been around for 20 years. But they've been around for 20 years in the weirdest forms. They've had multiple ownerships. They've had multiple issues with talent at different times, or just different booking issues. They've had a lot of weird struggles, and a lot of times where they've been told they're going to close down, and then suddenly they like the cockroaches of professional wrestling, and I mean that in like the most sincere, nicest way. But now, the way that they're operating right now, under Anthem, which is a Canadian company, so I'm a little biased, and the way that they present their shows, you know what? It's really good. And if you're not watching weekly, that's fine. But at least maybe try one of their upcoming events. There's a show, Under Siege is on Saturday. By the way, spoiler alert, myself and Steven Jensen will be doing the post show over youtube.com/Fightful for the Under Siege Impact post show. That is going to be a pretty easy show to watch. It's not going to be a major event, but it's going to be a very special one. And the main event was just announced through this episode of Impact. It's going to be Josh Alexander versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh boy. I feel so bad for Josh's neck, which I think is surgically reconstructed already.
Yes, it is. Those two are going to go hard hitting on each other. And that was after they did the Moose versus Josh Alexander rematch, which was actually quite good. Not as good as the match they did what was the night before, but at Rebellion they did it again for the tapings, and Josh gets the win, of course.
I also think Josh Alexander started a trend in the past couple of weeks of wrestling of bringing out your children down the ramp, because all the children cameos in TripleMania like warmed my black jaded little heart.
Pentagon with his kids coming out. It's definitely a thing. My favorite is when the kids come out, but then the parents like yank them off the stage. Like,
yeah.
You should not be here.
It's even funnier at rock shows because it's just like a little child with like headphones on that are like this big backstage.
Yeah. I remember watching a Foo Fighters concert, and when Dave Grohl's kids were much younger, and his youngest was like off to the side stage, and Dave goes over there, and like his daughter's wearing these like massive noise isolating headphones, and I've had those noise isolating headphones.
They're great
for rehearsals. You look like a dork, but man, you don't get tinnitus.
I've had eardrum surgery, so trust me.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. Other matches from that Impact show, they did Rosemary and Havoc versus Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. What do you think? Did you enjoy it?
I really like the storytelling a lot going on here because it's developing a lot of possibilities for bookings. I want to see Allie come back to Impact for just one thing, and I'm gonna talk about that every week. But overall, it was a little like. It was weird. Like the match itself technically was kind of all over the place. But I like what they're doing with the story. Like with Rosemary's return, and she looks phenomenal. Like I pointed it out last week. Like I just she's really been hitting the gym hard, and like you can tell not only in her like physique, but like how she's moving in the ring in and out. She just has a lot of confidence and power, and that's really shining through. I mean, Tasha Steelz doesn't need to shine through. She's always shining through. Like she's right up in your face about it. And I love that about her. But I was kind of like, like at the end of that match. I don't know.
I get it. It was a quick match. And also it
Mhm.
started off with Taya Valkyrie coming out and being like, this is my home. I am the champ. And then you had Deonna come out, and then you had Ty and Rosemary and Havoc show up, and then Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. And it kind of like, it just kind of mixed everything together.
Yeah, I was like,
This big
what's
plot.
happening?
Yeah, and then they did a quick match where Havoc gets the win, so she's going to face Tasha Steelz at Under Siege for the Knockouts Championship. Which again, I'm not expecting a huge banger of a match, but it'll be fun. And
Yeah,
again,
like
like
yeah.
one of the reasons why this kind of match is happening is you've got Deonna versus Taya again, this time for the AAA Reina de
Mm.
Reinas Championship. And if you take into account how good that match was at Rebellion, you can't really have Tasha Steelz have like a massive knockouts championship match, because then she's going up against two of the like greatest women's wrestlers out there right now.
Goats.
Yeah, two very, very strong wrestlers. So for like Havoc and Tasha, it'll be fine. I think it'll just be kind of a match with a lot of stuff going on around it. Rosemary and Savannah Evans are going to be probably at ringside in some way, shape, or form. They'll probably get involved, get tossed out, whatever it is, and then Tasha will probably get the win. It's just going to be one of those matches.
I hope to meet Taya one day, because I have a question for her, because I know that she's from Victoria, which is also where Chelsea Green is from. And Taya wears these very specific type of boots that like rave girls would wear.
Oh yeah,
And I want to be like, did you ever like go to raves in BC or Canada? Because like I feel like we probably went to a party together.
Could you imagine? There's an age discrepancy though.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an age discrepancy.
I'm closer to Chelsea for sure.
Yeah. What else? Was there anything else from Impact that really struck your fancy?
Briscoes.
I mean,
Briscoes opening match was pretty good, actually. Yeah, I like that they're on Impact.
Yes, I was quite happy to
bag.
watch them. Yeah, exactly. And they took on Heath and Rhino, which again, you don't always expect to have the best match, but Heath and Rhino have been around forever. They know how to wrestle, so why not? Really good match. Simple.
It's a good way to open a show.
Contenders. Yeah, exactly. So the Briscoes are number one contenders. They're going to face Violent by Design at Under Siege. That match is one that I could see the Briscoes winning and being Impact Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, now that you say that out loud, I'm like, yeah, that sounds right.
Wouldn't
Justice for Sour Boy. Justice for Sour Boy.
They showed up too. They did a whole Bullet Club
them.
Honor No More thing again. I don't know. I'm kind of getting sick of it. But they're doing the match at Under Siege, Bullet Club versus Honor No More.
Have you gone to the Tokyo Dome, Joel?
No, I need to go to the Tokyo Dome. It's on my list. I don't know if having
go
a
like compete in it or go to it.
Physically attended. I'm not going to be competing in a ring anytime soon. I'm not you, but now I want to know how your wrestling training is going. I want you to fill in the world. What's been going on there?
It's going. Like I'm a couple of months into it, and I'm so blessed to have found Super Kicked and to also talk to other people like from Battle Arts. Like I have to shout out Santino for just like being like a cool person and like checking in and be like, oh, you're training, and like giving me like little, like just being a very helpful person, and to just have access to all these like Canadian wrestlers on all different levels has been really refreshing, because obviously it's like male dominated. There's only one other woman I know in my class that's doing this. I know BAA started an all women's class. I don't want to go to an all women's class all the time, but I think that's cool that it exists. And yeah, shit's getting real. I started taking my first bumps and screwed up my leg getting pinned, and I'm getting up to the second rope now, and still really focusing on fundamentals and chain wrestling and holds and all that stuff. But now I'm starting to like have ideas of sequences to start practicing, and or I'll see something like a gif like of Mesa Ruga doing a speed style thing and being like, oh, I want to copy this sequence or whatever. So it's starting to kind of, it's like when you learn any skill, like let's say painting, first you learn how to like mix colors, and then you learn how to like make texture and it's all starting to come together, and it's cool. And I don't expect to be on AEW or a WWE like Seth freaking Rollins superstar, but I love it, and I hope to keep learning and hopefully get in the ring and raise hell.
That's insane. I'm like so stoked that you're starting to like think of sequences and start taking
I have
just
dreams
those.
about it now, dude. I have wrestling dreams. It's so weird.
That's awesome though. I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many opportunities for you to like continue to work through all this stuff. And like you said, you've got super kicked and they've been training you and doing all that stuff, but you're
Mhm.
getting some time now to kind of relax and kind of compose,
Yeah.
because you've been running hard. Like you, every week we talk about something that you've been working on. And so
Mhm.
when there's an opportunity to kind of take it easy, do you find that it's helpful? Do you find that it's something that more people should do, especially in wrestling?
Absolutely. And I think like everyone like always is like really quick to like comment on wrestlers like, oh, they should do this or oh, they should do that. And it's like until you get in the ring and like take your first couple bumps, which I still technically haven't. Like I'm still doing like child stuff compared to like
Right.
what people do. But until you kind of get in there and like start doing the work, you have no idea like how intense and how scary that is, and it takes a lot of balls, like no matter who does it, even refs. Like refs are wrestlers too.
Yeah.
um Security guards, like everyone, like there's so many people, valets, managers, like there's so much going on. um and that's kind of like what I'm starting to realize, like holy shit, like this is real, and this is something that I don't see doing as a full-time career, obviously, but like as a passion, as something I love, as something I want to do. And I want to get more people into it, whether it's a young girl or a young boy or a young whatever. Like, I don't care. I
Is
want
there a
to,
Sorry, no, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
I just want
No.
to like show my love for it and get other people into it and have fun.
Is there a bump that you are petrified of taking or one that you're looking forward to trying?
I mean, my goal by the end of the year is to go through a table. So I really want to like know what it feels like to like um do a table spot. You know what I mean? In terms of things I don't like, grappling is really tough, especially when you're on the ground and you're doing like crucifix holds and like you have like someone's legs or crotch in your face. And it's not because someone's crotch is in my face, it's just that it's like really intense and exhausting. Like I really like the performance aspect, and I come from a powerlifting and boxing background, so I'm kind of more like a brawler, I guess, like would be my style. So I look forward to kind of like studying a lot of Japanese strikers and kind of like bringing that to it. I'm not really scared of pain. I'm not really scared of getting hit. I've been punched in the face before in street fights and in like boxing fights. So no, there's not too much where I'm like, oh no, like I don't want to do this. I want to experience it all, just safely.
Of
Cause
course.
cause I've like botched a couple of like really basic things, and like you quickly pay that price the next day.
Yeah, I believe it. There's no right way to take a bump when you take it
No,
wrong. Like it's not
no,
good.
no.
Oh man.
And it's almost always your fault too, right? It's almost never you're the other person you're working with, right?
Well,
So it's
that's the thing, because the safety is on you both, but
mhm.
you also have to kind of control your weight when you're the one taking the bump, right?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be doing a 630 off a ladder personally, because I think that no one needs to do that. But some people can land that.
Sammy Guevara would tell you otherwise.
Prayers
He
up
then
to
also
Sammy
tell
Guevara,
he then
I
also tell
guess.
you that he has sex with Taikachi.
I hate you so much.
This is gonna be my worst episode ever of the show.
2 views.
Yeah,
Everything's a
exactly.
downvote.
Yeah, like I'm seeing in the chat, like you have a finite amount of bumps. You have a bump card and you can only do so many and take so many until your body's like, nah, forget this, I'm out, I'm done. So listen, hopefully your bump card is very very vast, and you're able to do as much as you can in the time that
Well,
you
thank
want.
God I love Joshi style wrestling, right, Joel? That's gonna be
Yeah,
super good for my bump card.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, the problem is like the Joshis are all this, they start at like 14, 15, and
Yeah.
last I checked, you're
14,
not.
that's so old.
That's right. They start at 9. And last I checked, I am not podcasting with a 9-year-old. So unless I am, and at which point I have questions.
That'd be weird, but no, I'm not
Right?
9.
Hey, there are
That would be
kids
cool
doing
though, to have
podcasts.
a 9-year-old just come in and talk about wrestling from a 9-year-old's
Dude,
perspective.
they exist. I'm sure of it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure
We'll
it
get Josh
exists.
Alexander's kid to come in and talk about wrestling.
That'd be incredible. That video
Can
of
you
him
imagine?
doing the karate while slapping his knee, I was like crying.
I
It's
was
so
dying.
funny. Yeah.
There's some good stuff out there. But anyway, we don't have to go a full hour today. But do
Let's
we
cut it
have much
short and
else?
sweet.
Yeah, we're kind of short and sweet. We talked about TripleMania. We talked about a little AEW and some Impact. Is there anything else that like really stood out to you from this week that you want to touch on? Did you watch any of the GCW stuff? Because I just got to shout
I
out,
need to see the Janela speedball thing because like
yes,
we've all seen the GIF and holy
shouting
fucking
that out.
shit.
I watched the match. Very well worth your time. Go watch Speedball and Janela.
Can I cut a promo?
Sure, as long as it's not a problematic promo, we're good.
No. Okay, so this weekend in Toronto, only the Toughest Wrestling OTT has an event. The OTT Heavyweight Championship match with Harry Bulldog Smith versus Eric Redbeard. That's going to be great. The OTT title belt will be brought to the ring by 10-year-old Steven Spice, who was at Greektown, and he's a survivor of multiple brain surgeries. He's such a badass little kid. Beastman making his debut in Canada versus Ontario indie legend El Tornado. So that should be interesting. 6'6" Xavier Walker from Michigan versus the young phenomenon Johnny DeLuca, who's turning 20 years old at the show. I thought he was older. No offense. Jody Threat versus Addie Starr. Jody is a brawler. It's going to be amazing.
I love both of those women so much.
The Cam AM Kings, who is Silk and Sugar Dunkerton, versus the Southern Vultures, John Greed and Rex the Boot Atkins. That's going to be a banger. And John Atlas versus Karam and the return of the Asylum. He has issued an open challenge and no one's accepted yet. So that should be an amazing show. I'm going to be there. Tickets, I think, are $30 or $35 at the door. It's on Danforth in Toronto and really good people involved. And other than that, catch me, you know where to find me, at Lillie Z. It's right there.
So I, just like you, when we went to Greektown, we saw the pamphlets for those on the way out. I thought the event happened this past week, and I couldn't for the life of me remember who was in the main event. And I kept looking. I kept thinking that it was Damo, who used to be Killian Dane, because I kept thinking like big, massive beard, bald head, and then no, it's Eric Redbeard, like you said, and he's taking on Harry Smith, which again that'll be an interesting match just to watch. I couldn't remember for the life of me where the event is. It's at the Eastminster United Church, where Greektown used to run. So might check it out. Like you said, $35. I've got the website up here. I'm just taking a look. And yeah, I'm glad that I know that this event is happening this weekend. Maybe I'll be able to check it out. But if you're in Toronto and you're looking for wrestling, absolutely go check it out. Only the Toughest Pro Wrestling, which is a ridiculous name, but it might actually be a really fun show.
I think it's going to be great. There's some lucha stuff coming up. There's more super kick coming up. We'll keep you guys posted on local wrestling, international wrestling, AEW, GCW, New Japan. We don't care. We talk about it all. Leave us a thumbs up. Leave us more comments next time, you cowards. And that's it from me.
There you go. It's Fightful Overbooked, youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Do all the things Lillie just told you to do, and then go ahead. I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. A little bit of a short one today, but hey, you guys know how it goes. Every single day we got something to talk about. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next